It's only at Boardman Subaru on South Avenue between Route 224 and Western Reserve Road. Ryan Dembski. And let's see, who's on the far side for Western Reserve? It could be Jeep DeCiccio back to receive the kick, which will come off the foot of Tamer Graham. He's got it teed up. And we are underway at Western Reserve, as it was Levi Taylor who actually kicked it off. The short kick to the far side of the field is covered by Western Reserve at the 37-yard line. The first quarter of tonight's high school football broadcast here on 570 WKBN, being brought to you in part by Stadium Superstore in Salem, where the model year-end clearance sale is going on right now.
South Range just punch-kicked the ball up into the air, knowing they weren't going to be able to drive into that wind. And then Gregory Bruner made a very sound decision. He was one of the back players, just fair catching it and getting down on the ball.
All right, Western Reserve will open up wing right, slot right, a split left formation, a pistol snap to Larimer. The wingman moves to wing left. Larimer takes the snap, handoff. Smith has got it, bounces off a tackler behind the line of scrimmage, crosses the line of scrimmage, and then is hit crisply by Greg Dunham after a gain of 3.
Again, it looks like South Range came out a little bit of man-to-man out on the edges with those wide receivers. Not quite in press coverage, but definitely man-to-man. And then it allows the safety to come up and wash all that stuff up and run support. And that was Anello Bazzacco that came up really strong from that safety position.
Smith averaging over 8.5 yards a carry through the first 2 games. He's going to get it again. Plows behind the left side of his line across the 40, close to the 43 to bring up 3rd down and 4 for Western Reserve.
Simple little lead handoff, try and get over on that left side, that short side of the field where there's typically that one less defender. But South Range here early on through 2 runs, just giving up 6 yards, so playing a little bit tough at that point of attack.
So it is 3rd and 4 for Western Reserve. Again, they start wing right, 2 wideouts to the right, a split left, and that split on the left side breaks early, and he'll be called for being offside. That's Cade Hillis, sophomore.
So those 2 runs basically get washed out on that illegal procedure. The wide receiver starts off a little bit early, so they're going to have themselves a long 3rd down here.
Yeah, 3rd and almost 10. There's the snap. Throw to the far side, caught for a 1st down. It was the guy who was offside, Cade Hillis, making the catch on the throw from Wyatt Larimer, who has completed now about 68% of his passes with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception so far this year.
Boy, and the offensive line that time for Western Reserve just gave Wyatt Larimer all day to sit back in that pocket and drive that ball over to Hillis. And really a very deep out route, and the cornerback just got caught in his back pedal and wasn't able to drive on the ball. Very nice throw from Larimer.
Just across midfield, nosed up toward the South Range 49-yard line. Larimer with a little flip to his right, and this will be thrown for a loss of a couple of yards. Ted Smith knocked down at his own 49 as South Range covered that very well.
First negative play that time for Western Reserve minus the penalty, but I think South Range got away with one. I think Nick Stanton, number 25, was as the outside linebacker position, snuck up a little bit close to that line of scrimmage and really looked from my vantage point like he was offside.
This time there's a wide out to each side. 2 running backs. Smith will go in motion to the left. Handoff will be to the fullback, Capabianca, and he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Capabianca rushing for almost 9 yards a carry. That time they mark him for a 1-yard loss.
Boy, Peyton Remish of South Range, a sophomore at that inside linebacker position. Great job of filling in that hole very quickly. One of the young men again stepping in to one of the additional 2 from the leading 9 coming back from last year. Just blew up the hole that time for South Range.
3rd and 13. Western Reserve from its own 48. Larimer takes the snap. Has time. Steps up through a hole in the middle, but can't escape a tackle as he crosses midfield. Pulling him down was linebacker J.R. Renforth, and it will be 4th and 10.
Boy, and again, that offensive line for Western Reserve gave ample time. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Then White Larimer stepped up into that pocket, but Renforth closed very quickly for South Range. Very surprising he couldn't find someone.
Larimer, who seldom leaves the field, is also the punter for the Blue Devils and averages over 37 yards a boot so far this season. Double safeties back for South Range. Kick is a line drive, end over end, over the shoulder catch, gets away from the receiver, who retreats back inside the 5, hit before he can get to the 10, and down goes Nick Stanton. South Range gets the ball for the first time. We're scoreless with 8:19 to go in the first quarter of high school football, presented by Stadium Superstore in Salem. Well, sounds like we're going to keep it here.
Jim, that could have been disastrous for South Range. Nick Stanton just misplayed the ball on that punt return, and very fortunate that he was able to turn around and able to turn that into something a little bit positive for the Raiders.
Not much as they start from their own 7-yard line. They come with a wing around. It's Larimer. He is caught behind the line of scrimmage, going left, touched back to his right, and got about a yard for his trouble.
Yeah, some excellent lateral pursuit that time for the Blue Devils of Western Reserve, getting wide on that wide receiver sweep to the outside. It was just a case where Stanton wasn't able to turn the edge because of the penetration of Joey Stubbs of Western Reserve initially upfield.
All right, for South Range, Seth Morrow is their quarterback. Ethan Dominguez is their tailback. Got a couple of H-backs, Mitch Dolak for one. Nick Stanton is the slot guy. There's a quick throw out to Stanton on the near side. Makes the catch. Gets out to the 15. Ball loose, but it is ruled down. And this will be close to, but short of, a first down.
Boy, I like the screen pass that time from Seth Morrow. First time my opportunity to see his mechanics coming out there and throwing the ball, but very nice overhand delivery. Drove the ball. Looks like a very thick kid at 6'3", 215. I like the way he drove it out to Stanton. Stanton cut it up and got it into a 3rd and manageable. And that's the balance, Jim. Try a little bit of run. Use your wide receivers. Give them a little different formation-wise. Use your screen game.
It is 3rd and almost 2. Snap to Morrow. He's going to drive to the 20-yard line, backing up along the way, and gets the first down at the 20.
Very nice lead block that time because they had the 2 backs in the shotgun for South Range, and it was just a case where Mitch Dolak was lined up in that backfield. Very good lead block, allowing Morrow to fight through for that extra yardage and get that first down.
South Range working right to left here in the first quarter. First down at its own 20-yard line. Western Reserve also had a first down before being forced to punt. They want to blitz. They pull it back. Backside pressure from Capabianco, and he drives Morrow to the turf as he unleashes the football while rolling right, incomplete. Morrow comes into the game, completing 55% of his passes, but for only 92 yards with a touchdown and 3 interceptions.
And Jim, that one falls a little bit on Morrow because Western Reserve really showed blitz very early on. Capabianco was able to get in, but after a decent amount of time, and South Range did have a wide receiver out in the flat area, so that one's going to fall a little bit on Morrow not being able to complete the ball because he had ample time on the roll.
It is 2nd down and 10 from the 20. We're approaching the midway mark of the first quarter, still scoreless. Deep motion for reserve. Fumbled snap. Morrow picks it up, weaves his way through traffic, and comes up just short of a first down at the 29-yard line. Hey, you might win a gift card worth $100 by entering the 50-50 drawing at one of our high school football local broadcast locations this season, presented by Sheetz Convenience Stores, where you always find the state-mandated lowest prices on your favorite beverages.
Boy, and I think that's a case where Morrow, out of the shotgun for South Range, just got a little bit antsy getting that ball back, reading the blitz coming from Ted Smith of Western Reserve, and also Capabianca coming in.
On 3rd and 1, takes the snap, penalty flags fly.
Flags on the play.
Stops the clock at the 5:30 mark. Charlie Hoffman Septic Services is the official sponsor of Western Reserve Blue Devils football here on 570 WKBN this season.
Guys,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, guys, the wind is switching up now. It's sometimes it's blowing directly from your left to your right. Sometimes it's quartering Jim and Mario, and other times it's blowing directly across the field. So it's switching up down here on the playing surface. Mario?
All right, that's one of our Armstrong sideline reports. Armstrong, one wire, infinite possibilities. Penalty against South Range now makes it 3rd and 6. Morrow with a quick handoff to Stanton. Nope. Tackle broken in the backfield by Ethan Dominguez, but he was dropped near the line of scrimmage, and South Range will be forced to punt.
Boy, and Dominguez here early on, showing good speed, trying to run some stuff laterally, except for the quarterback going up that middle. And it's just a case, Western Reserve, tremendous lateral speed here early on and pursuit. And it was a case where Ted Smith could have had a tackle for loss of Western Reserve, just didn't wrap though, but allowed the other people to finish it off.
All right, punting it away. Nick Stanton gives it a good ride. High spiral, will drop at the 40, and Reserve will let it roll, and it is down at about the 32-yard line. 4:22 to go, first quarter, no score on the Stadium Superstore in Salem. High school football game of the week. Starts from his own 31-yard line, and a bit of a bruising run for Ted Smith in among the big guys, but he gets it out to the 35, where it will be 2nd and 6, and he comes to the sideline.
And it seems very early on that Coach Hake is trying to work that middle, trying to beat down that South Range defense, working that middle on the initial runs, 1st and 2nd down.
Quick handoff in the backfield, trying a little stutter step, but getting nothing to speak of. That was Jack Capabianca. No gain, so it will be 3rd down and 6.
Boy, and it's got a little habitual on the, they did get the first down on the last drive, but basically 1st down, 2nd down on 6 plays in a row. They've basically run between the guard and center gaps on 6 plays, and then on 3rd down, they've gone to try to get Wyatt Larimer. So that puts a lot of pressure on a quarterback starting.
And he will take the snap, roll to his right, has time. Here comes the pursuit, slings it up the near sideline, and it is out of bounds. Chief DeCiccio reached out and tried to pull it in, but he would have been out of bounds in among his teammates along the bench. And so Western Reserve will be forced to punt again.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit easy sometimes, Jim, when you really get into a little bit of a habit of running 1st down, 2nd down. It lets your defense kind of dial in on what your game plan is there.
All right, it will be. That's not Larimer punting. They got Jack Capabianca back there.
Backs the pass.
Takes a high snap, handles it nicely, and booms that kick out of there. A wobbler taken by Stanton at about the 21, and he's tied up around the ankles before he can reach the 30-yard line. Nice punt, nice return, nice tackle. 2:49 to go, first quarter. No score on 570 WKBN. 44-yard punt, 7-yard return. Ethan Dominguez gets the first down handoff for South Range. No gain from the 28.
Raiders again trying to probe that middle. I imagine at some point we're going to see a little bit of play action off of that, and Morrow maybe on a roll or set up a little bit of a bubble screen.
And in motion, they give it off to the tailback, Dominguez. He's quickly into the second level, steps through a tackle, and takes it right up the far hash mark out to the 45-yard line and a first down.
Very nice counter handoff. They had brought Nick Stanton around from the inside slot receiver position, and basically the quarterback quartered around, handed off up that middle, and they continued out to their option. So very nice inside handoff.
Local State Farm Insurance agents sponsor the High School Football Team of the Week Award again this season. Visit 570 WKBN to check out the weekly winners. Here's another handoff. Dominguez hammering into the line, getting maybe a yard. That Team of the Week presented by State Farm agents, including Tanya Howell in Champion. It will be second down and 9.
Boy, the surprising part, when you have a team that's blitzing really as much as Western Reserve is, you would think you would run some things across that middle, right where those linebackers are leaving that area, that you'd run a drag or you'd run a screen right to where they're at.
All right, Morrow with a running back behind him, a wing right. Stanton in deep motion. A delay. It's a fake to Dominguez. A pitch to Stanton, who reversed his direction to take the snap, and a late flag flies in as Stanton is driven out of bounds at midfield. And while they're sorting this out, let's pause with 1:11 to go in the first quarter. Still no score between Reserve and South Range on the Salem Superstore in Salem Game of the Week. Dead ball, personal foul against Western Reserve, puts the ball at their 35, and the quarterback Morrow, after some play action faking, circles behind the left side of his line and dives down close to the 31-yard line. That'll be a pickup of, well, we're going to call it 3 at the 32, so make it second down and 7.
Boy, very unfortunate for Western Reserve. Cody Hillis, 6'3", 250, an underclassman at that defensive end, defensive tackle position, made good penetration, had an opportunity to tackle Seth Morrow, just couldn't wrap up and finish it on a tackle for loss.
Western Reserve was almost offside in the middle of the line. We're going to get a timeout called here by South Range. It comes with 34 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It's still South Range nothing, Western Reserve nothing on 570 WKBN.
Now for two chances to win.
We'll be saluting local high school standouts as the Marlboro Corporation Scholar Athlete of the Week. Keep an eye on the high school sports webpage at 570WKBN.com. Beginning next week, we'll pick the winner on probably on Thursday. It's usual practice. So South Range burning a timeout here with just 34 seconds to go in the first quarter. This has been a bit of a slugfest so far. Both teams fairly conservative, although the South Range basic game plan, their basic system, is somewhat complex because of the wings and guys in motion and all that. Slot left, split right, running back to either side of Morrow, fakes the handoff, drops back, and takes off. He'll be knocked down at the 31, and it will be a third down and 6. Almost looked like a design quarterback draw.
I think it was, Jim, and the thing that's surprising me, and obviously coaches have been at this a lot longer, but from a fan standpoint, here's what I would do. With Western Reserve showing blitz every play, 2, 3, 4 guys, I would have my quarterback change a cadence and do a little fake with his head to get those guys to jump on that blitz, because they're basically running towards that line.
There's a quick handoff, straight ahead. Dominguez bounces off the initial contact, but only falls forward to the 28, and it will be 4th and about 3 as the first quarter comes to an end. Stay tuned for tonight's halftime show, brought to you by Baird Brothers Fine Hardwood, traditional craftsmanship, timeless style. And in that halftime show, we'll have the Ducat halftime scoreboard. Tweet your scores to iHeart Scores and find out what other teams in the area are doing, courtesy of Ducat Sales and Service, Route 224 in Boardman and Ducat Route 422 in Warren. And our first quarter tonight was brought to you in part by Stadium Superstore in Salem, where you can get employee pricing right now. One quarter in the books at Western Reserve. Blue Devils and the South Range Raiders scoreless on 570 WKBN.
Recently, a leading consumer ratings magazine listed Armstrong as the #1 rated provider for internet and television in the nation, and we're very proud of the results. All of us at Armstrong work hard every day to ensure the reliability and quality of our services so that you have the best possible experience. Thank you for recognizing our commitment, and as always, thanks for being an Armstrong customer. One wire, infinite possibilities.
South Range opens the second quarter by going for it on 4th and 3. They fake the ball to Dominguez going up the middle. The quarterback Morrow rolls to his left and is jumped on from behind by Ted Smith for a loss that turns the ball over on downs. Our second quarter being brought to you in part tonight by Beatrice Coppin Harshman. Reputation, respect, results.
Yeah, super penetration that time, Jim, and good downfield pursuit by Ed Smith. Loved the way he continued to pursue that play from the backside, and it was a case where I think Morrow had, the quarterback of South Range, had awareness of him, but the secondary just locked down on South Range receivers.
All right, Western Reserve takes over at its own 30-yard line. There's the snap to Larimer. He's going to run it all the way. Started off the left edge of his line, but was forced to bounce it even wider and was pulled down for a loss of at least 2.
Boy, and Tamer Graham, 6 foot, 185, underclassman junior for South Range, didn't fall for that play fake or the bite into the middle from the back, and just followed Wyatt Larimer the entire way, and was one of the deep penetration that time, causing that basic tackle for loss.
Loss of, well, you know what? We're going to call it 3, I guess. And it will bring up 2nd down and 13. This reserve running attack has just not found any room in the South Range defense. Larimer takes the snap. He's going to throw. Scrambles to his right, pumps once, now breaks out and gets back to the original line of scrimmage where it will be 3rd down and 10.
Boy, and we're just seeing some excellent defense in that 2nd and 3rd level, locking down on receivers. And we haven't seen anyone really challenge deep yet. And because everything's basically being played in basically a 10-yard area, everyone can scoot up and everything's just playing, keeping everything inside of them. And there's really nowhere for those quarterbacks to get it.
All right, it is 3rd and 10 from the 30. Vinaloom Products is the official sponsor of South Range Raiders football on 570 WKVN. Raiders defense looking for another stop. Double run fake. Larimer scrambles. He's hit. Drops the football. And who fell on it back at the 27 or 28?
And I believe one of the linemen fell down. I think it was T.J. Henry.
T.J. Henry covered the fumble. A loss of 2. And it will bring up 3 again. And it will bring up another punting situation.
When it was Tamer Graham, again, who I mentioned just before on the previous play, that came up with a huge hit on Wyatt Larimer.
Another punt from Capabianca. Sails down short, and Stanton has to let it hit, and it is covered at about the 43-yard line with just over 9.5 to play here in the second quarter.
We'll have to see if they come out and balance a little bit, open up. Now, they've put a lot of pressure on basically 2nd and 3rd down. And for Western Reserve, their offense really has struggled in long down and distance. They've basically put their quarterback in a position where he's had to throw on 3rd down. So we've seen the effects of that. Not many first downs. Let's see if South Range has anything better.
Starting from its own 43-yard line. Ball is on the right hash. Quarterback Seth Morrow takes the snap, hands off, straight ahead, spinning into the middle, fighting his way almost out to midfield is the somewhat diminutive Ethan Dominguez. Actually, he's a little bigger than he looks. He's 5'10", 180. A junior, came in averaging almost 9.5 yards a carry, and he got 5 that time to the 48.
Boy, and Brandon Stanley, very nice block that time up the middle, allowing Dominguez to get some yardage.
Wide wide receiver left. They got a slot right into the short side of the field, wing left. The slot man is in motion, takes the handoff, going left, cuts it up, gets outside, first down in Western Reserve territory, and tumbles down at the 40-yard line. That was Greg Dunham.
Well, it's a case where they finally got outside to that perimeter, and it's a case where Ed Smith is blitzing every play for Western Reserve, and it's almost feast or famine. If Ed Smith gets in there and disrupts the play, it's basically a tackle for no loss or basically a broken play for South Range. If they can get by that blitz and he can disrupt it enough for the other guys to help.
So it is first down at the Western Reserve 40. Dominguez, handoff, squirts through and bursts through actually a very tiny hole, running low, and dives down to the 32-yard line. And we're going to get a Western Reserve timeout. 8:22 to go, first half. South Range driving, but the game remains scoreless. This is high school football presented by Stadium Superstore in Salem. For South Range from the Western Reserve 32 in a scoreless first half. Snap, quick throw out to the left flat, caught, and Nick Stanton gets it inside the 30 to the 28, and a South Range first down.
Nice throw that time by Morrow. Didn't lead the receiver at all, just a simple little screen pass out to the wide receiver on the short side of the field. The inside slot receiver kind of ran off a little bit, trying to get the corner to bite out, bit just enough to allow that to go for about 5 yards, Jim.
Both of Morrow's completions have been to Nick Stanton. One running back behind Morrow. It's Dominguez. He spins. He takes the handoff off of the spin by Morrow, then bounces free out the left side and down the left sideline and tackled out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. He disappeared in the pile. Next thing you knew, he's running free down the sideline. Now we have a Western Reserve player down. Could be Greg Bruner on the far side. Let's zoom down to the sideline. Haven't heard from Len for a while.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Jim, that is Greg Bruner who is down. And Mario, if you notice, the play before this one, Western Reserve mixed it up a little bit and did not blitz at all. But on this play right here that just happened again, and they sent 7 guys and were unable to get any penetration. So you would figure that they try to mix it up a little bit more, but right now they're just keep blitzing, and South Range is doing a great job on the offensive line.
Yeah, and so much of that, Len, is, and fans out there in Mahoney Valley, the blitz is feast or famine. I mean, if you blitz and you hit it, it's great. If you don't, that you're basically that second level of defense because they're already at the line of scrimmage or past it. So once you got caught, as Dominguez did, and his natural ability broke a couple of tackles, some poor tackling out in that second and third level, headed for some good yardage. And it's a nice try.
I spoke to assistant coach Joe Brooks, who has the lineman for South Range. He told me he felt that the key to their success tonight would be the offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage. Jimmy?
We're having a little trouble hearing Len right now, or anything else for that matter, but it's first and goal from the 4. Morrow drops the snap, picks it up, and he'll be buried back outside the 5-yard line.
And it is it's just simply a case where South Range really needs to change the cadence a little bit of the quarterback. And what that means is hut, 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 hut. And you change the sound inflection of your voice.
Second and goal from the 7. Morrow on a play action fake will go straight into the middle of the line and does not get much for his effort. They're going to mark the ball actually. Well, the one side judge marked it well back. In fact, he did lose about a yard. So it'll be third and goal from the 8.
And you talk about being a little bit habitual. Western Reserve has really blitzed in between the tackle box. What is that? Inside those tackles, that's where they've predominantly been coming. Haven't sent blitzes from the outside. Run option to the outside.
There's the handoff to the wingman around. It's Dunham. Western Reserve stretches it out and bangs him out of bounds short of the goal line. And we have another Western Reserve player down.
And that lateral, again, Western Reserve blitzes up the middle. They allow Dunham to bounce to that edge and get very close.
It's going to be 4th and goal from the original line of scrimmage, which is the 4, and we will pause while another Western Reserve player is tended to by the medical staff. 6:27 left, first half. South Range nothing, Western Reserve nothing. High school football presented by Stadium Superstore in Salem. The 570 KBN High School Football webpage includes schedules, scores, standings, award winners, and live scores. See for yourself at 570WKBN.com. Brought to you by TKS Athletics. And leaving the field is Kyle Hillis, outside linebacker. So Reserve, which is not extraordinarily deep, and especially on their defense, has had players go down on consecutive plays now.
And he's grabbing his head almost like you got your bell rung a little bit, and a little bit wobbly. It doesn't look like a physical. It's just more kind of in your head, a little bit mental, that concussion thing, or just got his bell rung.
There may be some concussion protocol here. 4th and goal. They've actually spotted the ball now at the 3.
That'd be a huge loss for Western Reserve.
And South Range will go for it. There's the snap, handoff, wingman around, touchdown at the 5-yard line. Getting denied on a great play. I think by the guy who was taking off the play earlier.
Yeah, Greg Bruner, super job of getting penetration from that safety position. South Range tried to go lateral and just got caught up in the wash. And wow, they are going crazy on that sideline for Western Reserve. Huge play. What a stand for Western Reserve on a 4th down deep.
1-yard loss there. And it will be Western Reserve coming out from its own 4-yard line. They have not had much success moving the ball tonight. Larimer will go under center, turn, give it to his up back, and struggling against this gang tackling South Range defense and getting very little indeed was Jack Capabianca.
Anela Bazzacco rolling up in that safety position, very close. The sophomore, very rangy, 6'1", 170, came up, just stayed strong at the point of attack and met the back and just continued to drive legs.
They're going to give Capabianca credit for 3 yards. He now has just 2 net yards in 3 carries. Larimer will remain under center with split backs very close behind him. He'll turn, give it off, and again a surge through the middle, kind of the pile kind of veering to the left out across the 10-yard line. And again, it's Capabianca to about the 12, where it will be 3rd and 2.
Boy, and again, this is something that maybe Western Reserve is finding a little bit by accident, just by the nature of where they were positioned. Getting up in tight ground and pound, getting your tight ends up on that line of scrimmage, getting 2 backs back there, getting your quarterback under center, and you're just going to muscle up with your bigger offensive line. Try and get him off that line of scrimmage.
3rd and 2 from the 12. There's the turn. There's the handoff. Quick hitter and very close. It will be a first down at the 15-yard line.
Boy, and that's a gut check, Jim. That's a gut check for Western Reserve. You're pinned back. You've got the momentum that got with you on the 4th down stop. You're down, basically standing in your end zone, and you get it out for a nice first down. And first downs have been tough going for you tonight.
Joe Stubbs was the carrier that time, got the 3 tough yards for Reserve, which is now 1st and 10 from its own 15. in a scoreless first half. They keep that tight, straight-back formation. Smith in the backfield slams off the right side out to the 20. Actually, they're going to mark him down a lot shorter than that. The pile got to the 20, but Smith only got to the 17, a pickup of 2.
That ended up looking like a pretty generous 3 in my estimation, Jim, from where they have the field marker over on the far sideline. And this is, as we mentioned, it's one of them things. You just kind of find by the nature of where you were pinned down, you want to just grind it out here.
2nd and 8 for Western Reserve. They stay with that straight eye backfield. Handoff straight ahead to the man in the middle of that 3-back set. And it was Stubbs again on the carry. This time did make it to the 20, and it will be 3rd down and 5. Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print will customize just about anything with your logos or artwork, or let Nightline produce something original for you, your school, organization, or business. See for yourself at Nightline on West Liberty Street in Girard.
Andy Hake doing a nice job for Western Reserve, mixing up his backs, giving South Range multiple looks.
Staying with that set, Larimer now will stand up and call a timeout. It comes to 3:16 to go in the first half on a 3rd and 5 for the Blue Devils. No score on 570 WKBN. All right, here we go. 3rd and 5 for Western Reserve at its own 20. With 3:16 to go in the first half. Larimer with a running back to his left off his hip. Takes the snap. Heads straight up the middle. Crosses the 25 and gets another Western Reserve first down.
And so far here, the only problem with this of Coach Andy Hake deciding to play this, basically play this possession in a phone booth, is that it really grinds the time. So then you have to decide, how are we gonna continue attack this, just trying to play in a phone booth, or are we gonna go back to spreading it out now that we've got ourselves a little breathing air? And it looks like Coach Andy Hake trying to get some points, opening it back up.
At 2 receivers to each side, first down at the 26-yard line. Larimer shouting out some instructions, moves back in, takes the ball right up the middle, little bitty seam, tries to cut left, no running room, stopped at the 29, pickup of 3.
Peyton Remish, sophomore for South Range, fills that hole very quickly.
All right, clock continues to run. Larimer with a dozen yards on 5 carries as a running back. That's Stubbs, moves from his left hip to his right hip. 2 receivers to each side. Stubbs gets the football, shakes off a...
Coach Agley's going to have a decision here, Jim.
And gets out to the 31-yard line where it will be 4th down.
Yeah, now South Range has a decision here. They've got 2 timeouts left in their pocket on this 3rd down play. So I would imagine if Western Reserve doesn't get a first down here and they're speeding it up a little bit, Coach Eagle will get a timeout very quickly if they don't get the first.
3rd down and a long 5 from the 32. Larimer wants to throw. Here comes the rush. Throws it up the near side. Tightrope catch. Yes! Hanging over the sideline and making the catch, Cade Hillis. First down Reserve.
Cade Hillis, big wide receiver, over 6'2", straddling that sideline to let that ball get into his chest. The cornerback was pretty far off of him, and I like the way Larimer just kept buying time, rolling to his offside. He's a right-hander, rolling to his left, bought just enough to get that first down.
12-yard pickup, first down Reserve at its own 43. Clock stopped at 1:37 left in the half. Larimer takes the snap, looks right, looks up the middle, now rolls to the right, still rolling, still running, and out of bounds he goes, short of the marker, and for lost yardage.
Great zone coverage. South Range just zoned him out. Everyone backed off about 5-10 yards. Western Reserve had 4 guys running routes, and everybody was blanketed. They just relied on their front 4 to get pressure, even though Larimer did have time. Rolling. Great coverage in that South Range secondary.
2-yard loss to the 41. Our high school football broadcast tonight on 570 WKBN being brought to you in part by Pizza Hut, the area agency on aging, Lafarge Construction Materials, local participating independent range insurance agents, and some folks I'll tell you about right after this 2nd and 12 play. Trips left, split right. Running back to the right of Larimer. Takes the snap, wants to throw. Steps up as pressure goes by, rolls to the right. Throws before he gets out of bounds and throws it out of bounds incomplete.
To who? To Len. I think Len was about the closest one over there on that South Range sideline. But I got to give super credit. Cody Hillis did tremendous pass protection that time for Wyatt Larimer. He just basically squatted down and said, no one's getting near my quarterback. Tremendous protection over on that right side.
Some of the other folks bringing you tonight's broadcast include Inner Circle Pizza,
Just a reminder, tonight's game.
Pure Cycle Studio, and Ben's Restaurant. Got a timeout called here. And we'll keep it right here and remind you that tonight's halftime show on 570 WKBN will be presented by Bear Brothers Fine Hardwood. Bear Brothers, America's source for fine hardwood products since 1960, online at bearbrothers.com. Reserve tonight, by the way. I don't think we ever told you what these teams look like tonight. Wearing blue uniforms with white numbering and trim, little red accent around the numbers, big wide white stripe down the side of the pants. I think it says Blue Devils vertically on that stripe. South Range in the white uniforms got the maroon numbering and helmets and yellow gold trim. It is 3rd down and 12 for Western Reserve. Minute 20 to go before halftime. Larimer will take the direct snap, sprint to his left, giving ground, comes to the near sideline, flips it underhand into his own bench. I'm not sure who the receiver was supposed to be, but no flags. It'll be 4th down.
4th down.
Yeah, and just kind of flipped it out of bounds. Very surprising. Again, super coverage by the Raider defense, staying deeper than the deeper guy, especially Nick Stanton, who was playing that free safety. He was about 30 yards downfield, and as there was West Reserve routes on some deep flag routes, he was just staying right with them.
So it is 4th and 12 from the 41. Minute 12 to go before halftime. And they will, Reserve will drop Jack Capabianca into punt formation.
South Range looks like they're putting a little pressure on.
Here they come, but Capabianca gets a high hanging kick. Nick Stanton fair catches at the 30-yard line.
Wow, it's very close, very close. Tamer Graham got a little bit of a gator arm, excuse me, as he got in close to Capabianca on the punt.
They'll spot it right at the 30 with 1:05 to go in the first half. We remain scoreless. The Ducat halftime scoreboard on the way. Tweet your scores to iHeart Scores and then listen to the Ducat halftime scoreboard presented by Ducat Sales and Service, which has equipment for all seasons. Ducat, Route 224 in Boardman and Route 422 in Warren. Two receivers wide right, one split to the left. A running back ahead and left. The wingman taking the handoff, trying to scoot around the left side, spinning out of a tackle and then being driven across the original line of scrimmage. J.R. Renforth on the carry.
Boy, this is very reminiscent of last week when we saw with Cardinal Mooney and Boardman where Jalen Hewlett was basically living in the backfield. Ed Smith doing the same thing for Western Reserve.
1 yard gain. Raiders go right at it. Morrow drops, throws, hung up in the wind, and it goes way out of bounds. The wind pushing it, holding it up, and pushing it off the playing surface. 33 seconds remain in the first half.
Trying to hit Greg Dunham on a simple go route down the sideline. It's a case where Seth Morrow really locked on him the whole time. Dunham got separation as he got about the 50 to the 40. Clearly got separation with no safety help, but the ball really fluttered.
So it is 3rd and 9 with 33 seconds to go in the first half. Stanton is out wide to the left, got a slot inside of him. Snap to Morrow, handoff. Dominguez straight ahead. Western Reserve there to stop him after a 2-yard gain. It'll be 4th down.
Boy, and Coach Andy Hake was looking at the clock, but knowing that they didn't have any timeouts left, very good call that time by Dan Yeagley. Elected just to run it up to keep the clock running so that Western Reserve wasn't given another opportunity to get some type of return.
And they will not have to run another play as the clock winds down. Our second quarter tonight here on 570 WKBN, brought to you in part by Dietrich, Kopp, and Hirschman. Reputation, respect, results. Let's zoom down to the field. Len Gessler is getting ready to catch up with Western Reserve head coach Andy Hake, who I think is doing a little business here, talking to one of his players. Go ahead, Len.
All right, as soon as we get Coach Hake here, and yeah, Coach, great defensive stand there. You were able to go ahead and stop them. Did you anticipate that? It almost looked like you anticipated what they were going to run.
No, you know what? They're really good. So we're gonna have to play ball here in the second half. You know what? 0-0. This is a great defensive game. Both teams are playing nuts. So it's a great game for football. We got to go fix things. You know what I mean? But that's okay. Hey, look, this is a great game, and we got to step it up and play a little bit harder. And they're out quicking us a little bit on defense right now. So we got to play a little quicker on our offensive line.
You know what, Andy? On that last offensive series, you were able to move the ball, which you weren't able to do earlier. Was there something that you discovered that South Range was doing defensively to allow you to move it?
Our kids just picked it up a little bit. They got to pick it up a little bit more, and then this is a real battle. This is what happens in battles. So we're in a battle right now. We got to just pick it up a little bit and move a little quicker on offense. Defense, we're running around with the ball good. I mean, we're running around and hitting them. They're doing the same to us. So it's a real battle right now, and both teams. But you know, this game could be 7-0. Who knows? It's probably going to be 50-40. You know what I mean? I don't know. 0-0 right now. We've been involved in this kind of stuff. So we're going to go fix things right now and get our guys going.
All right, Andy, go and enjoy your team at halftime. Good luck in the second half.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, Jimmy.
Thanks very much, Len. It has been a physical first half indeed between this Division 6 and Division 5 rival schools, teams, if you will. And don't expect it to let up any in the second half. Question is, who can get it to the goal line? And as Coach Hake said, the way these offenses are, they both could and do it often. We'll find out. Stay tuned. The Bear Brothers halftime show is next. Our halftime score, South Range 0, Western Reserve 0.
Armstrong, one wire, infinite possibilities.
You can watch your favorite TV shows here, or even here. Anywhere there's an internet connection. With your Armstrong subscription and access to the internet, you can watch TV everywhere in your home or on the go. Download apps from your favorite networks like FX, ESPN, Sprout, and more directly to your wireless device. Sign in once and start watching. Take Armstrong TV with you everywhere. One wire, infinite possibilities.
All lined up and ready to boot it away. Here we go. Reserve's return team inching up a bit, and this kick is end over end, lob just outside, just inside the 30. South Range lets it roll out of bounds. Austin Kelly came over to take a look, but that'll give the Raiders the ball at their own 35-yard line.
Which will be some of their best field position to start with here. And as Coach Yeagley said, a little bit of drive sustainability. Neither team has been able to really sustain drives for any real length of time. South Range had one real drive that got them very close to the goal line, but it was basically built on broken big plays.
Well, actually, South Range has decided to take that penalty.
5-yard penalty.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to make him kick in straight into that wind again. So we'll see if they elect to try, if Wyatt Larimer decides to kick that ball up in the air or try and drive it a little bit more.
And guys, it is misting ever so slightly right now. And as you said, the wind coming kind of from the northwest. So it's, again, quartering across the field. Jim?
And that would slightly put it at South Range's back here in the third quarter. Push the ball toward the far sideline, the visitor's sideline. Larimer's got it teed up again at the 35. And again, he pops it up. This will not go 10 yards.
No! Oh!
South Range actually touched the ball, and Western Reserve falls on it.
Wow. Jim, just really a mental error on the South Range part. The ball wasn't going to go past the 10 yards. It's just a case where I think Larimer just got a hold of the ball a little bit too sideways. The ball went literally about 7 yards up in the air, and all South Range had to do was just stay away from the ball, because the ball actually started to bounce backward from the initial 7-yard hit, and it looked like one of the young men for South Range hit it.
So Western Reserve will start with the football.
What a break.
And do so from its own 43-yard line.
43-yard line.
Wyatt Larimer at quarterback. He has Joe Stubbs and Ted Smith in the backfield. Stubbs a step ahead of him to his right. Smith just behind him off his right hip. Now Stubbs goes to a wing right, and now we are going to get a timeout called by South Range just 1 second into our second half of play. So things open up with a mental mistake. You wonder now if South Range is thinking, why didn't we just take the football when he kicked it out of bounds? But
yeah, in the case of Michael Douglas, greed is not good. I mean, you had a gift. You had it at the 35. You got your possession. Just take the ball and let's go run with it. But, I mean, greed, they can't take it out of you. I mean, it's inbred in humans for greed. More. You want more.
Well, let's see how much Western Reserve wants after getting that break. Send two receivers out to the right, Bruner, and inside him is Sissio. There's a snap, handoff, straight ahead, and diving across the 45 to the 46-yard line was Ted Smith.
I mean, that was one brutal collision at the line of scrimmage. Peyton Remish basically got his hands off of the blocker in front of him, filled the hole, basically like a cream donut, and Smith came up the line, and they just met head-to-head like a Ram commercial, and Smith fell forward for some positive yards.
It is 2nd down and 7 from the 46. We're in the first 40 seconds of the second half. Smith behind Larimer, now goes in motion to the right. Larimer takes the snap straight ahead behind the right side of the line. Grabbed before he got back to the line of scrimmage. Surges forward for about a yard, and it will bring up 3rd down and 6.
When a young man who's been very active for the South Range Raider defense tonight is Tamer Graham, 6 foot, 185, underclassman junior, coming off of that edge. Basically, South Range just had more people up there than Western Reserve could block. Came off the edge and was able to bring down Larimer.
I'll tell you what, guys, if they run that same play, though, Western Reserve had 3 receivers covered by only 1 South Range defender.
Thanks, Len. An Armstrong sideline report there. Armstrong, one wire, infinite possibilities. Larimer wants to throw, has to give ground as the pocket collapses, rolls right, throws upfield, but it skips into Joe Stubbs, incomplete. And Western Reserve, despite getting the break, will be forced to punt.
And we saw them really struggle offensively in most of that first half against the game that we first covered on opening night against Columbiana. The score ended up pretty high, but it was a lot of basically big broken plays towards the end, no real sustained drives, and it's just a case Larimer struggling to stay in that pocket. Cody Hillis had again provided ample time on that right side at pocket protection, and he bounced outside of his pocket.
All right, see what the punt off the side of the foot, caught at the 32 and headed up the far side as Neil Pizzacco out to the 45. South Range will wind up getting good field position anyway here with 10:19 to go in the third quarter. The game's still scoreless.
Boy, it looked like there was really going to be a lot more room that time for Anello Pizzacco, sophomore, coming up on the edge of that punt return. But that Western Reserve special teams covered very quickly.
So South Range now starting from its own 44-yard line, surviving a bad mental mistake on the opening kickoff. Handoff in the backfield, hit in the backfield, bouncing backwards and free. Ethan Dominguez works his way out across the 45 to the 47. That could have easily been a 2-yard loss.
Boy, and T.J. Henry of Western Reserve had a super opportunity for a tackle for loss, and it's a case where it appeared, in my vantage point, he went for the hit and didn't go for the wrap. And that's what caused it, because he initially had knocked back Dominguez at the point of attack, bounced off of him, and got great positive yards on something that could have been a disaster.
Second down and 7 from the 47. Quarterback Seth Morrow. Here comes the blitz. He gets a little running room right off the hip of his right tackle, crosses midfield into Western Reserve territory at the 47, and it'll be third down and 1.
Nice read that time by Seth Morrow, the quarterback of South Range, getting that ball off the play fake, let the blitzer over-blitz it off of the edge, and just stepped right up inside of him to get a real short third and manageable. And Western Reserve, true to what they are, I mean, they just still just basically come blitzing out of the locker room.
So on third and 1, Morrow takes the direct snap, going to run right. He's got the first down. He's down the near sideline at the 25 and spun out of bounds down near the 20-yard line on a nice play by Carl Clockengay, who refused to let Morrow get inside him.
Just a case where Bailey Brothag, number 22, didn't keep outside containment, allowed the quarterback Seth Morrow to get that bounce to the edge, didn't keep the outside sealed, forcing him to where there's more defenders to the inside. So that play clearly falls on Brothag and that South Range offensive line, creating some space, allowing Morrow to get to the edge.
It is a first down at the Western Reserve 20. Keep in mind, it was first and goal at one point in the second quarter from the 4. Here comes the blitz. Dominguez took the face round off. The blitz kept coming, and Morrow winds up on his back at the 27-yard line.
Boy, Chief DeCiccio bringing the cornerback blitz, or basically he was playing a safety or a cornerback, brought him right off the edge of the tackle. They basically almost doubled it up off the outside of the tackle. Cody Hillis, he kind of took the tackle, got him out of the play. 2 guys coming off the edge to bury Morrow. And that's what it is. It's so feast or famine on that blitzing. It could create such havoc defensively.
It is an 8-yard loss, so it is second and 18. Dominguez does get the ball this time, squirts through a small hole off the left edge, and fights his way down to about the 24-yard line, where it will be third down and 14. There is a penalty marker down.
Might be a face mask, Jim.
Official sponsor of South Range Raiders football on 570 WKBN is Vinaloom Products.
And that's going to be the face mask against Western Reserve. Let's see if it's just going to be the Garden Variety 5. And it is. So it's just a case where one of the Western Reserve defenders just got their hand on the face mask, didn't use it as a weapon or as a means with which to bring down the ball carrier. If you grab it and hold it and use it as a weapon, you're going to get the personal foul 15. If you kind of just touch it, let go, don't use it, you're going to get the 5.
All right, and it winds up creating a second down and 9 for the Raiders from just outside the 19 of Western Reserve, which blitzes again. Dominguez is asked to run right into the teeth of it, and he's chewed up pretty good. Not much yardage there. There's a penalty marker. Nope, I guess not. No gain. It'll be third down and 9.
Boy, with them rolling that safety Gregory up, and basically Smith and everyone rolling up basically within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. The post route down the middle to either a tight end or a back out of the backfield down the seam, or even a slant route if he can get inside position on a corner, is wide open.
All right, they send a receiver wide left, another wide to the right, and we get a timeout called by South Range. 3rd and 9 at the Western Reserve 19, 6:52 to go, third quarter. No score yet in the Stadium Superstore in Salem high school football game of the week. Out of the timeout, a big 3rd and 9 for South Range at the Western Reserve 19. Seth Morrow takes the snap, fakes the run, pumps left, pocket collapses, down he goes for another loss.
Trying to run a little wiggle move on that inside, the inside slot receiver, pumped the quarterback, Seth Morrow, pumped the screen, tried to get Wyatt Larimer, the wide side cornerback, to bite on it. Gregory, the safety, drove to the play, and then the blitz eventually got to Morrow. Super play by the Western Reserve defense in the third level of D.
A 40-yard field goal attempt coming up. It is on the way. Hooking. It's got the distance. Got it! That, I believe, was Matt Brooks on the 40-yard field goal. So South Range breaks through on a long kick. It is the Raiders 3, Western Reserve nothing. This is 570 WKBN. Just doing some homework here. It was, in fact, Levi Taylor on the 40-yard field goal. He's now 2 for 2 this season. The other one he kicked was 28.
And that's a case, Jim, where I think clearly the wind helped that, because he really drove the ball pretty high in the air. And you can see just the feel, the little bit of a push, because it's a really stiff breeze here at Western Reserve. And it was directly behind him.
That'll bring us to our first Haas Auto Group scoring drive summary, which will be coming up right after this high short kickoff taken at the 22-yard line and returned to the 30. Western Reserve, or South Range rather, goes 33 yards in 8th place, 4 minutes and 10 seconds, and Levi Taylor boots a 40-yard field goal. That's the Haas Auto Group scoring drive summary. The Haas Auto Group is your zero-hassle dealer on Route 224 between Tippecanoe Road and Route 11 in Canfield. So Western Reserve now takes over at its own 31-yard line.
Boy, the way that this game has played out here at the 6:03 mark in the third quarter, I mean, that 3-yard gap puts a lot of pressure on Western Reserve, just if history, the way this game has played out so far.
Ted Smith in motion. Larimer takes the snap. Huge hole right behind center, and he drives out to the 36-yard line for a 5-yard pickup. Rob Hively opening a nice hole right up the gut.
Yeah, and especially in my estimation, Western Reserve in pass protection has done a super job tonight in the pass protection. The running game has really struggled in ability to make yards.
Tonight's high school football broadcast here on 570 WKBN is being brought to you in part by Ben's Restaurant, Pure Cycle Studio, local participating independent Grange Insurance agents, Lafarge Construction Materials, the Area Agency on Aging, and Pizza Hut. We've had a timeout called here. We'll keep it right here with South Range finally leading the ball game 3-0. Played a scoreless first half. And a 40-yard field goal almost midway through the third quarter, breaks the ice.
And if that play for Wyatt Larimer could have went for a lot more if J.R. Renforth hadn't closed in very quickly for South Range to make that play, that could have been a much bigger game.
2nd down and 5 for the Blue Devils when the ball is signaled ready for play. We are just under 6 minutes to play in the third quarter.
You know, guys, guys, and it's been fun watching the two coaches on the sideline. And again, like I said earlier, Jim, they couldn't be more different personality-wise during this game. I'll expand on that later.
Another Armstrong sideline report. Ted Smith in motion to the right. The running play comes to the left into the short side of the field. Joe Stubbs, and he is knocked down after a very short gain. Would you like to elaborate a little more now?
Well, I can. Dan Yeagley, the head coach from South Range, he's kind of mild-mannered, pretty even keel, not too high, not too low. On the other side, Andy Hake for Berlin Center. He's like the Ron Moschella on the football field, and that's a compliment to Ron, by the way. But Andy just is in like 10th gear every single second. So you got one that's calm and one that's not. Jim?
No gain on that play. 3rd and 5 now. Larimer takes the snap, looks right, pressure coming in his face, and he'll go down, be sacked back near the 26-yard line.
Boy, and they just kept fighting South Range, trying to run a deeper route out to, I believe it was Jeep DeSico, who they were trying to run a little bit of a go route on, and then the pursuit of Nathan Danzewski just kept coming for South Range. And South Range is really, their defense has been on point tonight, and you can see a lot of those returning starters starting to really bear the fruit now.
A little bit of a high snap. Capabianca does a good job grabbing it, hangs the ball up. It's fair caught at the 48-yard line. So South Range from its own 48. Good field position.
And again, it's going to pin, as we've seen a lot with the kind of the offensive ineptitude that we've seen throughout a lot of this year, the first 3 games, Jim, that you, I, and Len have covered. It's really, some teams have been really unbalanced with their ability not to score, but their defenses have been very strong. And we'll see if that Western Reserve defense can hang their hat on it again.
They've now spotted the ball at the 49-yard line. Quarterback Seth Morrow has his running back Dominguez behind him, a step into the right, gives him the ball. Dominguez fights through the line across midfield and gets his nose down to the 48-yard line of Western Reserve. A pickup of 3. Sheets Convenience Store sponsors the 50-50 giveaway at 570 WKBN High School football local broadcast locations this season. Enter the school's 50-50 drawing for a chance to win a Sheets gift card worth $100. Sheets, putting convenience back into your life 24/7.
Really good push up front by Jake Plunkett and Tyler Patterson, 2 seniors over on that left side. Oh, they're just burning time. I mean, I thought that's going to be an injury.
This is an injury timeout. We've got some cramps to be taken care of. This usually takes a minute or so, so let's pause. 4:06 to go, 3rd quarter. South Range 3, Western Reserve nothing. This is high school football 2015, presented by Stadium Superstore in Salem. Total Restoration presents our post-game show all season long on 570 WKBN. For commercial, residential, or industrial projects, it's A&M Total Restoration at 330-507-6220. On 2nd and 7, another handoff. Dominguez squirts through the middle of the line and dives down to the 44-yard line of Western Reserve. Will leave them about 3 short of a first down.
And that center up front, Pierce Baird, and that rest of that offensive line, Ryan Simpson, really starting to assert themselves here, much like Coach Yeagley had said with our own Len Gessler at halftime, wanting to really keep establishing that running game and grind some clock down.
It is 3rd and 3, South Range at the Western Reserve, 44. Raiders lead 3-0, just under 3.5 to play, and we have a penalty marker against South Range. And now they go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8.
What was it, not enough guys on the line of scrimmage?
No, I think somebody on the opposite side moved. It looked like a wide receiver on the right side moved. And also, guys, number 9, Jeep DeSicio for Western Reserve, hobbling around. He's still out here, but he looks like he's laboring somewhat. So we'll keep an eye on him. Jim?
Yeah, and I believe it was Cody Hillis that was treated for the cramp, and he is still on the near sideline on the Western Reserve bench, walking a bit stiff-legged. So it is 3rd and 8 now from the 49, and we have another whistle as Seth Morrow started to run the option to the left. South Range has burned another timeout, has only one left now. Find out who the O'Charlie's player of the game is and hear him interviewed live on the field at our post-game show. O'Charlie's, good food, good times.
5.
Well, speaking of Hillis, I believe in that first half, Kyle Hillis, number 36, had gone out also. And I have not really seen his number back out there. So that would be a huge loss continuation if the Hillises are out for Western Reserve.
Yeah, and I'm looking for his number on the sideline. It doesn't take much because this is Division 6 and Division 5 ball, so the numbers aren't huge. He may be in that huddle out there. Western Reserve lost one of its starters, Nick Cooper, to a collarbone injury in week 2. So
7, 6, 5,
they're down a body there.
5.
You know what, two guys, it might be interesting to see if when Western Reserve gets the ball back. Like we were saying before, they used the power game to punch the ball out toward the end of the second quarter, and haven't gone back to it. And guys, I don't understand that. Why not just put 3 in the backfield and push the Raiders off the line of scrimmage? Jimmy?
Thanks for another Armstrong sideline report. Morrow breaks a run around the right side on 3rd and 8 and is rolled out of bounds down near the Western Reserve 30. So he's had a couple of big runs down this ball game.
Boy, and that was set up clearly by Jake Plunkett over on that right side. His ability, he basically disengaged with the defensive end and then pancaked someone about 5 yards down the field. And it shows that Seth Morrow, that big quarterback with good quickness, got to the edge and finally curved that edge.
When Morrow last year was at Youngstown Christian, now Valley Christian. 6'3", 215, only a junior, 19-yard run, gives it to Ethan Dominguez, puts his head down and crashes right into the heart of the defense, and comes up 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 12.
And it goes more to the feast or famine. It was a chase where Henry was able to get in for Western Reserve and basically blow up that line of scrimmage with all the other guys. And sometimes they hit it, sometimes they don't. And that's why you're going to get bigger plays from South Range every once in a while, or you're going to get the tackles for loss. But I still think the play action over that middle where those blitzes are coming, especially on first down, because they're really bringing it on first down because of habitually that's what you've done is run up the middle.
2 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Western Reserve almost jumped offside. Dominguez trying to stretch it out wide left. May have gotten a yard out of it as Western Reserve really able to string that play out. Good lateral movement.
And with their ability, with their guys up front, because their defensive line does do a pretty good job, I have to commend them, of protecting that second level of defense, entangling offensive linemen, and allowing those linebackers to blitz in the gaps that they're creating.
It was a 1-yard pickup, so it's 3rd and 11. Morrow with a deep setback option, pitches it to Dominguez, and he is going to be crushed before he can get back to the sticks, and it will be 4th down.
And that one falls a little bit on Seth Morrow. Why does it fall on him? Because he was a little indecisive as he was trying to make that corner to the short side of the field. Didn't really string along parallel to that line of scrimmage and basically tossed it too early and didn't allow Dominguez any room because all the defense just basically went to him. You got to run that down that line of scrimmage and have that threat to cut up early when you run option.
It's a 2-yard loss, and it brings up 4th down and 13. And South Range got its regular offensive formation. They fake it to Dominguez and then lose the ball on a little razzle-dazzle all the way back to the 45-yard line as they faked it to Dominguez and tried to get it to Greg Dunham, who never got the handle.
And that's the second miscue here just in this 3rd quarter, 1:11 left to play in the 3rd, that their miscue has set up great field position for Western Reserve. What am I talking about? At the initial kickoff, they were able to recover basically a muffed cover for South Range, and now the fourth down mishap, instead of just punting and make them go the whole distance because their offense has been so inept, now you give them a shorter field on the muffed handoff. So you're giving free hidden yardage away.
Right, technically, that becomes a turnover.
Yep.
Because it was on an offensive play. Larimer takes the snap, took a half a step back, tried to go straight ahead. Well, they're going to give him the line of scrimmage. I don't know that he ever got there, but they're going to give it to him anyway. 2nd and 10, reserved from its own 45-yard line.
And I think that's going to be a little tackle for loss. Again, negative yards in the running game, very close. Negative yardage running for Western Reserve. The tackles, super job of protecting the linebackers, allowing those guys to really flow and make big plays, led by Peyton Remish.
Lost about the length of the football, so we'll call it remains 2nd and 10, just short of the 45. Larimer with a man breaking in motion to his left, steps back, throws over the middle. He's got Capabianca. 30, 25, 20, pull down from behind.
Break down that seam because they had run someone out on a little bit of a bubble screen, and I like what Larimer did. He looked off the safety just enough to buy that split second for Capabianca to go up that middle in the seam route, spread those safeties just enough.
25-yard completion. We've got another Western Reserve player down, and still limping around out there is tackle Cody Hillis, trying to make sure that he doesn't cramp up. He's in the game. He's playing, but he's struggling.
Are you hurt or are you injured?
There you go.
Yeah, if you're hurt, get out there. If you're injured, you got to get off the field.
Yeah, that's true. And not sure who that is down now. Hillis, despite walking around, goes down and immediately gets the attention of two members of the training staff on his right leg. So he's cramping up a bit. And we do have a player who we have not been able to identify down at the 20-yard line, and it is not a cramp. But Western Reserve, you got an ID, you think? It is Capabianca?
It's Capabianca down at the 20, Jim. That is correct. And trying to see the player that's down here on the... Well, it's Cody Hillis at number 72 that's down on about the 26-yard line. So two players right now on the ground for Western Reserve.
And some other young men up at the press box are telling me that it is Jack Capabianca that is the other injured player not at midfield, but in between the hashes.
Did he get up and then go down? Because he caught the ball and was tackled on the far hash mark, and right now he's lying at the 20-yard line on the near hash mark.
And it was a really high tackle from the safety as he was coming over to make the play. Nick Stanton kind of really went high. It wasn't a hit. It was basically the way, I think, that he had tackled him, where he had kind of grabbed him real up top and kind of swung him down.
Well, that'd be a huge loss. Capabianca acts as a fullback. He acts as a tight end. He has a huge part on their defense. He's an outstanding athlete. He's related to the Capabianca who plays for Ursuline and has played so well.
Also, too, I got to tell you, Kyle Hillis is not out here on the field, guys. I'm sorry, Jim.
22 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Western Reserve trying to overcome a 3-0 deficit. Capabianca now, after a little assist, will leave the field under his own power. His right arm hanging a little funny, like he might have gotten a stinger or something, but he got his bell rung in any case. They're talking to him through the helmet.
A great catch on his part, though, down the middle. And it was a very nice call. And I love the way Wyatt Larimer looked off those safeties, creating that successful play.
25-yard pickup, first down at the South Range 20-yard line. Larimer with a running back, Smith to his left, takes the snap, runs left, has the ball tucked under his arm, 20, puts his head down inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line.
Boy, some super blocks that time to the outside by Smith. really leading that charge, sealing off the linebacker, not allowing him to flow, and allowing Larimer to really step up and gain some positive yards.
That was the final play of the third quarter, which was brought to you in part by Adult Education MCCTC. Become more at the Mahoning County Career and Technical Center. 3 quarters in the books at Berlin Center, Western Reserve. The Blue Devils driving, but trailing 3-0 on 570 WKDM.
Right now, this moment, the way you watch TV can change. And not in the, I liked it more before kind of way, but in the, how did I ever live without this kind of way. EXP blends Armstrong services, creating a new experience, recording 6 shows at once, stream programs to watch anywhere. Search to find your favorite actor, show, or movie, record shows from anywhere, and it can start today. This is EXP, and this changes everything.
All right, we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Western Reserve trailing 3-0. They are in a 2nd down and 3 from the 13-yard line of South Range. And this is definitely the Blue Devils' best threat of the night. And they will go to that straight T backfield. They had some success near the end of the half. Busted play. Larimer spun for a handoff. Wound up having to sprint out to his left and winds up losing yardage near the far sideline.
Boy, Jim, and I think that was really a designed sprint off of that play action to that middle fullback coming up the middle in an effort to get all South Range inside. But good awareness that time by the Range defense to get lateral and stop him.
So it will bring up a 3rd down and 5 from just outside the 15-yard line. Reserve having a little problem getting its personnel squared away.
And it just seems like their best option is a run-pass option with Larimer kind of on the roll with the ability to turn up the field.
3rd and 5, and Western Reserve has to call a timeout. Their personnel were uncertain, and they just didn't feel like they had enough time to get the play off. Both teams are down to only 1 timeout, and we are just early in the fourth quarter. Timeout on the field. South Range leads 3-0 on 570 WKDM. Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print has Adidas apparel in stock and now offers athletic shoes in adult and youth sizes. Stop in on West Liberty Street in Girard. Just over 11 minutes to play in the ball game. Western Reserve 3rd and 5 at the 15-yard line of South Range. Larimer takes the snap, looks to throw left, goes over the middle. Touchdown! Leaping catch by Deep DeCiccio, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
Great route that time by DeCiccio. The hard slant. Again, the offensive line in pass protection has done a wonderful job tonight of creating space and creating plenty of Mississippis for their quarterback Larimer to sit back there. It's just been sometimes his decision-making and his inability to pull that trigger. That time, looked off, looked left, looked right, and then gunned it down the middle to DeCiccio. No safety help.
And Larimer gets to do the conversion. Dominic Velasquez is his holder. And Greg Bruner does the snapping. Shallow stopper-style conversion is good. And with 11:05 now left in the ballgame, Western Reserve has the lead. It's the Blue Devils 7. The South Range Raiders 3. This is High School Football 2015, presented by Stadium Superstore in Salem. Well, the last time we saw Western Reserve, we were given a Haas Auditive scoring drive summary about every 2 minutes. Tonight, it's only our second one. Western Reserve goes 55 yards, 5 plays, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Wyatt Larimer whipped his 5th touchdown pass of the season. It goes to Jeep DeCiccio, his first scoring reception for the touchdown. And that's the Haas Auto Group scoring drive summary. Haas Auto Group has a vehicle for every budget. See for yourself online at HAUSautogroup.com or in person on Route 224 just west of the Ohio Turnpike overpass. So the Blue Devils with the lead, kicking it away. They punch it to the far sideline. This time, South Range will just let it go, and the penalty flag flies.
And I imagine with that kind of field position, they're going to elect just to take the ball.
Hey, guys, I got an update on Kyle Hillis. He has been taken to a local hospital for observation.
All right, Len, I think we heard that. We're having a little trouble hearing ourselves, much less you, but...
Try again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, well, it's not your problem. It's the problem up here.
Ah, okay.
And that Western Reserve touchdown was clearly set up by a turnover of South Range.
South Range from its own 43-yard line. Little razzle-dazzle in the backfield, but it's one of their favorite plays, going to Dominguez up the middle, and he gets maybe 2. They're going to mark it right at the 45, 2nd down and 8. Whether we can hear him or not, if you hear him at home, Glenn's reports are courtesy of Armstrong. One wire, infinite possibilities.
Really good fill by T.J. Henry, filling that hole initially. They just haven't been able to get that real negative, deep penetration, though, but they've done a good job of filling the gaps to get Dominguez.
2nd and 8 from the 45. 3-man backfield. Flag flies. And this is going to be, I believe, a delay of game against South Range.
Yeah, and you got to watch a little bit of that momentum change. You're on the road. Western Reserve, crowd starting to get into it, getting those cowbells going. And the very amplified are the Western Reserve players out there, really shaking, moving their hands, trying to get the crowd involved. And it's just a case where the right tackle just got a little bit started too early for the Raiders. Can't afford to have those kind of penalties. And it's been pretty penalty-free.
2nd down 13 now for the Raiders from their own 40. Snap to Morrow. Play action fake. He drills the ball over the middle, and Dunham drops it as he is drilled from behind.
Clearly a play that Coach Yeagley's Raiders need to play. I mean, Greg Dunham should have had that ball. The quarterback Morrow delivered it right over the middle, right where we've been saying, throw over the middle where the blitz is coming. All those people are leaving that area. Drive it there. Dunham had to make that catch.
Plenty of time left. 10:03 showing on the clock. Austin Kelly coming out wide to the left. They've got a 2-split to the short side of the field right. Morrow wanted to throw, now has to break contain, heads to the far side, and gets the first down.
Super run. Yeah.
Perfect run by Morrow.
Yeah, it was able to evade, felt the pressure in the pocket starting to collapse, and just stepped up into that pocket. Instead of bouncing to that edge, really stepped up into the thrust, and it looked like Western Reserve, that 2nd and 3rd level, had made good coverage to close in on him, and he had a good burst to get to the edge. Big play.
15-yard run, matching his uniform number. Coach Yeagley said in the pregame, as a transfer into South Range, which runs a complex system, it's taking him time to absorb it, but he's getting better. Takes the snap, hands it off. Dominguez trips over one of his own guys in the backfield and then regains his footing and dives down to about the 41-yard line.
Boy, it's a real testament to Dominguez to gain those yards because Brian Benyo, number 20 of Western Reserve, he was all the way 2-3 yards into the backfield, really got into the legs of Dominguez, and Dominguez was able to run through it to gain a real good 2nd and manageable.
See video of the State Farm Insurance High School Football Team of the Week Award online at 570 WKBN.com. We'll tell you who presents that in just a moment. There's a handoff. right side, big hole down the far side, 10-yard line and down on the far side. And I believe that was J.R. Renforth on the carry.
Yeah, and a great block downfield by a young man who missed a catch earlier, and it was number 10 for South Range. Greg Dunham did a tremendous block on the backside corner to set up some extra yardage for Renforth.
31-yard pickup, first and goal from the 10. That's State Morrow ready to take the snap. Does. Hands it off. Dominguez trying to weave his way through the middle and surges down close to the 5. That State Farm Team of the Week award is presented by participating local State Farm insurance agents like Jason Record in Canfield.
Boy, and that South Range offensive line really starting to assert themselves a little bit, starting to get that push 1-2 yards, except for the one guy really blitzing and getting penetration, moving forward, falling forward, gaining prowess up front.
Second and goal from the 5. Remember, the Raiders have been turned away from this distance once before in the ballgame. Morrow takes the snap. Quarterback draw. Got room. End zone touchdown.
Another great block by Jake Plunkett over on that right side, sealing it off, and then the patience. It wasn't a case where Morrow just jumped through the hole. Kind of looked for the hole initially, about a half of Mississippi, and then put on the burst. What an answer to come back on the road and to answer that big score from Western Reserve.
That's his first rushing touchdown of the season, and Levi Taylor, who kicked that 40-yard field goal that initially gave South Range the lead in the third quarter, is on to attempt the extra point. Snap is perfect. Hold is perfect. Kick is plenty good enough. And now with 8:12 left, South Range has regained the lead 10-7 over Western Reserve on tonight's high school football broadcast presented by Stadium Superstore in Salem. Well, South Range answers the Western Reserve scoring drive with a 57-yard, 7-play drive that used 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Quarterback Seth Morrow goes in from 5 yards out, but it was a 21-yard run by J.R. Fenworth that put the ball on the front porch. And that's the Haas Auto Group scoring drive summary. Haas Auto Group, where they buy, sell, and service all makes and models. Find out more online at hausautogroup.com or in person on Route 224 just east of Route 11. Kickoff is a high end-over-end, floats down, taken at the 22 by DeCiccio, and heads up the far sideline, out close to the 35.
Boy, and part of that score, I'd be remiss to mention that the kind of squib kit that Western Reserve has been doing set up Western Reserve with great field position that they had not given, that they had actually given up on a previous return and then turned into a turnover on the onside, basically muffed onside kick. So that time they took advantage of great field position.
A 14-yard return for DeCiccio, and Western Reserve takes over at its own 36-yard line. 8:07 left in the ball game, and the Blue Devils find themselves once again trailing by 3. Greg Bruner limps his way out wide left, got DeCiccio inside him, or wide right rather. And there's a straight ahead handoff and a drive with the offensive line all the way out to the 44-yard line.
Boy, and Smith just kept his legs churning. Looked like he was going to get stopped up close for about a 1 or 2 yard gain. And then that entire pile just moved with the good leg churn.
Smith comes out. He's replaced by Kurt Clockengay. 8-yard pickup.
We'll see if they go back to utilizing Wyatt Larimer and his ability to throw the ball or keep trying to pound it away up the middle.
Again, 2 receivers to each side. A running back to the right of Larimer. Fake to Clockengay, who may have missed the play. Ball punched free from Larimer. He goes back, tries to fall on it. It gets away. It's scooped up and going down the other way. All the way to the 5-yard line is Tamer Graham.
penetration from that South Range defense. They didn't bite off the play action as Larimer tried to get to the edge, tried to fight off with all those South Range people, and then made the real cardinal mistake. It's one thing to fumble the ball. Just fall on it to play another play. Don't try and gain any more yards. Just jump on it. And that's what he didn't do after the mishap.
I think what he was trying to do is what they teach you, kind of slide in and get into the fetal position, but when he slid into it, he kind of booted it free. So South Range takes over, 1st and goal from the 5 on another critical Western Reserve mistake. Quarterback keeper, a little bit of a draw. Morrow slides to the right and gets down maybe close to the 2-yard line.
Boy, and this puts just an incredible amount of pressure here at the running clock. We're just under 7 minutes here in the 4th. What a pressure it puts on this Western Reserve defense to make a stand here and effectively taking the momentum away and taking the crowd a little bit out of it here.
2nd and goal from the 2. Morrow takes the snap. Again, takes a half step backwards, surges toward the goal line. Touchdown is the call. And the mistake comes back to bite the Blue Devils.
Boy, it seemed like Gregory Bruner, number 86 of Western Reserve, is going to be able to come around from the backside and make that play on Morrow to bring him down. But Morrow, I think just his sheer size at 6'3", 215, a load of a quarterback, just followed through with that nice offensive line to get a little bit of a stretch here into this 4th quarter.
Well, no scoring in the first half, and Coach Hake told Len Gessler at halftime this could wind up being 40-30. I don't think it's going to get to that, but we have 23, now 24 points on the board in the second half as the conversion is good. And with 6:28 to play, South Range now has a 10-point advantage, 17-7 on the Stadium Superstore in Salem high school football game of the week. Took 41 seconds. Kickoff is scooped up at the 24 and returned across the 30 to about the 33-yard line that time by Carl Clockengay.
Now it's going to put some more real pressure on the Western Reserve offense to come up with some type of big plays with the way that South Range has now showed the ability to move the ball if they get the ball back. So it falls squarely on the quarterback's arm and leg to churn out some points here and get Western Reserve back in this game and get it back to a one-score game.
All right, that little summary there that I gave you was the Haas Auto Group scoring drive summary. Haas Auto Group wants your vehicle and will pay you more. Find out in person on Route 224, just east of Route 11. From its own 33, Western Reserve, there's a quick throw to Bruner, who spins off a tackler who's hurt, grabbing his hand or arm, but plenty of help there. Bruner, who winds up losing his helmet, picked up short yardage on a nice throw by Larimer.
Boy, and it was just a case where Peyton Remish, sophomore Peyton Remish, really just dropped the hammer on Gregory Bruner. But it's a case he really went for the hit and not for just the sound wrap-up play to bring him down. And it's a case got a little jarred. I'm actually surprised referees letting him stay in the game.
4-yard pickup. It is 2nd and 6 from the 37. Clock continues to run down to the 5:40 mark. Blue Devils with the ball, trailing now by 10. Larimer is chased out of the pocket to the left. Cox once, now flips it deep over the South Range bench. Incomplete, and he will live to play another day. It will be 3rd and 6.
Boy, and the safeties for South Range, Nick Stanton and Bazzacco. Nice job of staying deeper than the deepest guy, not giving up the big play. You want to make Western Reserve have to earn it down the field, not give up big ones.
And somebody in a blue uniform is down on the far sideline. So we'll have to check and see who that might be. The high school football webpage on 570WKBN.com has a new look and a new sponsor. See for yourself, courtesy of TKS Athletics.
When it's probably some type of wide receiver, because it looked like Western Reserve is bringing in number 11, Caleb Quinn, a 6'4", 155 freshman to replace the wideout, I believe, that's injured. And it is the injured young man, I think, Jim, is Cade Hillis. Cade Hillis, I believe.
Actually, I think that's Jack Capabianca again, is it? Or is it Cade? 24. Yep, 24. And he could not make it. He made it halfway across the field, and the cramp returns. It is Cade Hillis, number 24. It's... you would think by week 3, when the days are hot, and you've been working in camp and all that, that you could avoid this kind of thing, but
Okay, here it is, game ball time.
not so far.
Here's the winning team.
No, it was crazy hot during the week.
7-0.
But, yeah, we've had a little bit of mist here at Western Reserve. Just a little bit of dampness out there. But for all in all, it's been a wonderful night for high school football.
Yeah, there was a serious threat of rain. We got a few drops just before kickoff. And Len told us it was misting earlier. I can't really see anything in the lights, but...
Hey, guys, I don't know if you could hear me, Jimmy.
We're good.
Okay, Western Reserve has been absolutely decimated. Jack Capabianca will not play the rest of the game. And also Kyle Hillis, number 36, has been taken to a local hospital for observation. Jimmy?
Now, 2 huge losses. Meanwhile, it's 3rd and 6. Larimer has to scramble to the right. Near sideline 40, 45, out of bounds. First down, Western Reserve. Thanks for that timely Armstrong sideline report as well.
Yeah, Jim, and just another true testament to that Western Reserve. I know they haven't showed it with only 7 points on tonight, but the offensive line for Western Reserve, with Bowman and the rest of those guys, Hillis up front, have created ample time in that passing game. It's been a testament to the secondary of South Range, really blanketing a lot of the wide receivers, but that run threat from Larimer is clearly prevalent for Western Reserve.
9-yard pickup, first down, Western Reserve at its own 46-yard line. Trailing by 10 with less than 5.5 minutes to play. Larimer takes the snap, quick throw to Bruner, near side, tries to spin inside, leans forward to the 50 for another 4-yard pickup.
See, those quick screens to the outside, I mean, you blend them. I mean, I'm not saying just start chucking the ball freely like Menor. I'm saying blend it. Use the screen game. Use the young man's talent to be able to throw the football and mix that in with the running of your inside running. And I think you can get back to having that good diversified offense.
Western Reserve picking up the pace a little bit. Larimer out of an empty backfield will go straight ahead. Not much running room. There's a helmet on the ground. Well, there was a head in it, and it was still attached. Larimer stopped for a 1-yard gain, bringing up another 3rd and 5. The DeBartolo Corporation is once again sponsoring our Scholar Athlete of the Week Award. The first selection will be posted on the high school sports page at 570WKBN.com next week. 3rd and 5. Larimer takes the snap. Looks left. He's got DeCiccio out there. Takes it behind the line of scrimmage. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. And on a picture-perfect tackle is picked up and dropped for a 1-yard gain.
You hit it there. The junior Tamer Graham. A nice job of breaking down, just basically squatting in front of the DeCiccio as he was trying to put on a couple of juke moves. And then as they got the closer range, wrapped up and dragged down DeCiccio for a really short gain.
It will be 4th down and 4 for Western Reserve from the South Range 49-yard line. The Blue Devils have used their last time out here. South Range has 1 remaining, and I think it's safe to say the football game is on the line right here.
Yeah, in the case of Larimer, needed to look off some of the linebackers and the safeties a little bit more. You look downfield, look to the right, then come back to one of those underneath screen plays or to that outside. Got to do a better job of looking off the safeties and the corners to get them to stretch off of where you're intending to throw.
The official sponsor of Western Reserve Blue Devils football this season on 570 WKBN is Charlie Hoffman Septic Services. Here we go. Could be the ball game right here for Western Reserve. 4th and 4 from the South Range 49 with 4:10 left in the ball game. And Reserve trailing South Range 17-7. And Western Reserve has a big challenge next week against Springfield Local. Larimer with time, throws. Bruner with a diving catch attempt, and it goes through his arms, incomplete, and South Range will get the football.
And if I'm not mistaken, Springfield Local was taking it a little bit on the chin.
From Cuyahoga, huh?
Yeah, the Redskins. Yeah, they were taking a little bit on the chin. I believe it was 24-0 at halftime. And that's a case where Bruner, you got to help your quarterback out a little bit. Even though he did throw a little bit low on that driving ball across the middle, it hit your hands and your body. You got to make that catch and get the first.
Well, sorry to say for Western Reserve fans, but several of the fans who came out in person tonight are now beginning to head for the exits. As South Range gets the football, Morrow with a keeper, dives over the first line of defense and weaves his way down to the Western Reserve 45 for a pickup of 6. His run threat has become much more significant here in the second half.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a case of Jim. We had talked about it over the other 2 games that we had this year, namely in the Fitch-Hudson game, a very anemic offense, and then the defense eventually wore down. Last week, Boardman put up a very good fight defensively, and eventually the anemic offense wears down the defense. And I think tonight, Western Reserve, you're seeing the cumulative effect here at 326 of the D wearing down.
2nd and 4. Morrow standing up at the 50, running back behind him, takes the snap, turns, gives it to that running back. It's Stanton. He is grabbed before he can get to the line of scrimmage and twisted down back near midfield. They'll mark it at the 48, a loss of 3.
Really good play by Jeep DeCiccio. That safety, kind of a hybrid safety, almost really outside linebacker, came off the edge and was able to bring that back down from South Range. Jeep DeCiccio played a very nice game tonight for Western Reserve.
All right. It is 3rd down and 7. 2:40 left in the football game. South Range with the ball and a 10-point lead.
Morrow really grinded down the clock, waiting for the...
Going to hand it off straight ahead. This is not going to be enough for a first down to the 46-yard line. And the ball carrier was Dominguez, I believe. Yep.
And it's a case, I didn't really finish my thought on that. It's a case where the quarterback, Seth Morrow, in that shotgun is basically looking past the defense to the back judge and waiting for him to raise his hand. Why does he raise his hand? That tells the quarterback that there's 5 seconds left on the play clock, and he knows because he's just trying to grind. Here at Western Reserve, they don't have play clocks, so you're relying on the back judge.
Find out who our O'Charlie's player of the game is and hear him interviewed live on the field in our post-game show. O'Charlie's, good food, good times. We're going to get a delay of game here. South Range doesn't care. They've taken the clock down to 1:41 now. Ball now goes back just to the other side of midfield. Marked ready for play, and Western Reserve will, in fact, punt the football. Good snap, running kick by Stanton, high in the air, will drop just inside the 20. Taken on a bounce at the 13 by Larimer, can't escape, and is hit while standing up at about the 15.
Yeah, there's been some really good plays from South Range on special teams, and there's been some mishaps. And the mishaps hurt them pretty good, but that was a very good kick coverage that time for South Range. And I got to tell you, to get to 2-0 after the debacle that looked like against the Eagles of John F. Kennedy, to come back with 2 wins pretty strong, and the manner in with which you've done them is pretty impressive.
Well, and again, they have 9 starters back from their defense a year ago, and their defense has really set the tone tonight. Wyatt Larimer will take the snap. Quick throw to the far side. Got his man spinning out of bounds. Over on the far side is Cade Hillis.
And it's a case, just a simple little hitch route towards the sideline. Hillis did a nice job getting out of bounds, stopping the clock, but it is a case also that South Range has backed off of their third level. Those secondary, the corners have backed off just a little bit because you don't want to give up the big play. If they're going to grind out some time here at 124, you got to make them earn it.
Second and about 3. Larimer takes the snap, pocket collapses, escapes to the right, breaking an ankle tackle, gets away from somebody else, skids to a stop short of the 25, airs it out deep, incomplete. The ball almost intercepted, and the receiver, DeCiccio, wound up being the defensive back.
Boy, and Greg Dunham at the cornerback came from the wide side corner, followed DeCiccio all the way over as Larimer was buying time, and just out-bodied DeCiccio to get to that ball. And then DeCiccio actually turned into kind of a defensive back to keep it from Dunham getting the interception.
1:12 left in the ball game. It is second down and 3 for Western Reserve. That matters little. They got to find a way to get a score in a hurry.
Yeah, he was past the line of scrimmage.
And they're going to be penalized here. Larimer unloaded that football beyond the line of scrimmage.
I'll tell you what, Berlin Center's like a mass unit out here. Cody Hill is limping, and Jeep DeCiccio, guys, if you look, kind of holding his right arm limp, but they're still out there trying.
Second down, about 10. There's a throw to the far side, caught. Once again, that's Hillis, and he goes down at the 22.
Put a bit of gravy, yards and completions here towards the end. But it's a way to move the ball. South Range, the deepest guys are about 30 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Third down. There's a quick throw too far out in front of Bruner. Hillis had Larimer had the right idea. Bruner was there in a seam, crossing from right toward the middle of the field. But Larimer hurried the throw, led him too much. Bruner didn't have a chance, and now it's fourth down.
And clearly a case at this point, South Range willing to give up basically whatever Western Reserve wants to take underneath on some quick throws to the perimeter, because the corners are about 20 yards off and the safeties are about 30 yards off.
Well, this could be the last gasp right here for the Blue Devils unless they can get a first down. There's a throw too far out in front of DeCiccio, and that will end the night for Western Reserve. South Range will take over with 43 seconds remaining on the game clock. The A&M Total Restoration post-game report is coming up right after the game. Hail, wind, or water damage, call A&M Total Restoration at 330-507-6220.
It would be understating to say how decimated Western Reserve, and at the younger schools and the smaller schools, you get some injuries to your 1 and 1As. I mean, it becomes decimating to the entire team because you have so many young men going both ways in an effort to get people on the field that are your best athletes and age appropriate.
Seth Morrow will go into the victory formation and take a knee at the 25-yard line. And that, I believe, will be the last snap of the game. Well, no, they'll have to do it one more time, as we are just under 30 seconds left.
In this case, they might just get to the line very quickly and end it.
Yep. That's it. Now, Western Reserve can't stop the clock. There's no need to start another play, and South Range rallies from behind, takes advantage of actually creates a huge turnover and takes advantage of it, and turns back Western Reserve in its home opener by a score of 17-7. Stay tuned. We'll have our O'Charlie's Player of the Game coming up next in the A&M Total Restoration postgame show.